News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte is the most preferred presidential bet for the 2022 polls, according to Pulse Asia. The firm's executive director, Professor Ana Tabunda, joins us live over Zoom to discuss the results of this most recent survey. Good afternoon, Director. Let's go through the numbers first. Mayor Sara has 20% support. Is this mostly coming from Mindanao or is it spread across? And also, Professor Ana, what does this say, especially since Mayor Sara has actually said she has no intention to run for president?
Well, she gets higher voter preference in Mindanao. She gets 47% there, but lower in Visayas, 23%. And lower still in NCR, where she's 12%, and Balance Luzon, where she's 8%. I suppose the people are not discounting the possibility that she might change her mind and still run. That's why they are selecting her.
All right, and that would be a lesson we learned from 2016. Now, behind Mayor Sara Duterte, we have BBM or Bongbong Marcos. We have Yorme, Isko Moreno, and Manny Pacquiao. What are the numbers telling us between these top contenders? How tied are they? Or is the variance big? And is support actually divided between the three remaining candidates behind Mayor Sara?
Well, the three are tied for second spot, but they're also not that far from Mayor Sara Duterte. In the previous poll, she had a 14-point lead. Now her lead is down to 5 points, and the three are tied. Essentially, that's saying that there are as many voters who prefer either Bongbong Marcos, Isko Moreno, or Manny Pacquiao.
All right, what do these survey results then have to say about the opposition's slate? Does the Vice President, Leni Robredo, she's actually, I think, at 6th place in your list. What does this tell you as early as now?
Well, it will be a tough fight for the opposition, and considering also that the administration will have resources behind it, more resources, they have a tough fight ahead of them.
All right, and let's focus now, Professor Ana, on the vice presidential results of this most recent survey of yours. Senate President Tito Sotto has risen to the top bet for VP. He was previously 3rd place in your June survey. Where is this newfound support for the Senate President coming from?
Oh, well, he's essentially getting the same support across NCR, Balance Luzon, and Visayas, where his support ranges from 27% to 30%. In Mindanao, he gets 10%.
All right, and what does that have to, where does that leave the president? President Duterte, who also has expressed his interest in going for vice president. He has dropped to 2nd place behind the Senate President, Tito Sotto, with 14%. Do you guys have a possible explanation behind this?
I think it's just that the people are looking at other possible candidates.
All right, so as simple as that, ma'am. Okay, let's look at some senatoriables. We have Raffy Tulfo topping the list of senatorial preferences that was otherwise dominated by former and incumbent senators. Does Raffy Tulfo share the same support source with former House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano? Are you seeing this in your survey results as early as now?
I don't have the data before me right now, but yes, I think they would be, since they're both getting majority support, they're both getting it from the same areas.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Pulse Asia Executive Director Ana Tabunda, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And the Cusi-led wing of PDP-Laban welcomes the result of a recent Pulse Asia's vice presidential preference survey. Their candidate, President Duterte, enjoys a 14% support, as we have just discussed. This is second to Senate President Tito Sotto, who got 25%. Duterte's PDP-Laban faction says they will use the survey as a guidepost for their strategy once the campaign period for the 2022 elections begins. Meanwhile, Soto called the survey results a confidence booster for his vice presidential bid. Soto vowed to work harder as Senate President ahead of the national elections next year. And the Presidential Security Group says the COMELEC rules for COC filing this year will not be applicable to President Duterte. PSG Chief Randolph Cabangbang said the policy requiring only one company or one accompanier per candidate cannot be applied to Duterte since he is still the president of the Philippines. The PSG insists that the president's security is still their responsibility. No details yet on whether Duterte will personally file his certificate of candidacy. We'll have more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. NBA players who choose not to get vaccinated against COVID-19 will have to comply with a long list of restrictions this coming season. In a report by ESPN, vaccinated NBA players will only be tested if they show symptoms or come into close contact with a positive case. Unvaccinated players, meanwhile, will be tested daily before entering team facilities or interacting with other players and coaches. The unvaccinated players will also not be allowed to dine in the same room as others and will be given separate lockers. Vaccination is not mandatory in the NBA, but 90% of league players have reportedly received a shot. Aside from experiencing long COVID symptoms, experts found that COVID-19 reduced the life expectancy of American men by up to 2 years. Let's watch this.
Oxford University put out a study this morning that showed that American men lost 2.2 years of life as a result of COVID. I'm wondering, is that due to comorbidities or is that due to a healthcare response that was insufficient?
I would say it's probably neither of those two. I think we had such a severe COVID problem in this country because we were unable to really prevent cases. I mean, our healthcare response, everybody did everything they possibly could. But when there's so many cases of a disease that can be fatal, people are going to die. The key would have been to prevent cases, to be more effective with testing and contact tracing and vaccination. And if we can't do that, we're going to have a lot of deaths, no matter how many hospitals we have or ICUs we have. And, you know, within that 2.2 years is just a tremendous racial disparity, which also we have to understand better because our systems, including public health systems, you know, failed to prevent just a profound problem with equity.
Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. Professor Guido David of the Octa Research Group reports further decline in the country's COVID-19 reproduction rate. From 0.99, it's now down to 0.96 as of September 28. The reproduction number indicates how many individuals one infected patient can pass the virus on to. The health department says the COVID-19 vaccination of minors aged 12 to 17 with comorbidities will soon begin. Written consent from their parents and clearance from their doctors will be needed prior to vaccination. President Duterte recently approved the inoculation of the general public, which includes minors, by October. And in sports, the Gilas Pilipinas women's team suffered their second straight loss, this time from the Australian Opals, 56 to 120. The Filipina squad will go against Chinese Taipei next on Thursday, Manila time. They hope to secure at least one win in their bracket in order to avoid a relegation match against the lowest ranked team in the tournament. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.